Welcome to Carol and Gary's See America tour. Hello everyone. After a long drive on Sunday, Carol, Jasper, and I are now in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. This morning we visited the Oklahoma City National Memorial and Museum. This building memorializes the 168 people killed by Timothy McVeigh in the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building bombing on April 19, 1995. Timothy McVeigh, driving a rented Ryder truck containing 5,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate fertilizer and a nitromethane and diesel fuel mixture, parked the truck in front of the 9-story Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building at 9:01 a.m. on April 19th. He then lit 2 fuses, exited the truck, and walked northeast toward the car that he had positioned a few days earlier. The explosion collapsed the front third of the Federal Building and made a 30-foot wide, 8-foot deep crater in front of the building. When the Ryder truck exploded, the rear axle flew a short distance, damaging a nearby car. When found by the FBI on April 20th, the agents noticed the truck's VIN number was imprinted on the truck's axle. A quick search of the VIN number found the body shop in Junction City, Kansas, where the truck had been rented. Employees of the shop helped the FBI put together a drawing of the man who had rented the van. That man was Timothy McVeigh, who was also found was sitting in jail 80 miles north of Oklahoma City. McVeigh had been arrested 90 minutes after the explosion for driving without a license plate on his car. The ensuing FBI investigation found traces of the chemicals used in the explosion on McVeigh's clothes. The FBI learned about McVeigh's extremist ideologies and his anger over the events of Waco 2 years earlier. They also learned that a friend of McVeigh's named Terry Nichols had helped build the bomb. Timothy McVeigh would later be tried for murder and sentenced to death. He was executed by lethal injection on June 11, 2001. After McVeigh's trial, Terry Nichols was tried and also found guilty of murder, but was given life in prison without the chance of parole. The museum portion of the display that we visited honors the victims, survivors, and rescuers. A month after the explosion, it was decided to demolish the remaining building structure and erect a memorial outside on the footprint of the original building. Each chair has a victim's name engraved on the front of it and has a photo cell so that it lights up at night. Chairs were arranged to indicate where each person was when they perished. The back row indicates the 9th floor of the building, the next row indicates the 8th floor, and so forth down to the first row, indicating that the person was on the first floor. The 19 shorter chairs indicate one of the 19 children killed. On a rainy Tuesday, May 15th, Carol and I visited the Oklahoma State Firefighters Museum. One of the first things we noticed was a plaque from the mayor of Oklahoma City to the Oklahoma Fire Department for the outstanding search and rescue work performed by the Oklahoma City Fire Department after the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building bombing on April 19, 1995. The museum contains the world's largest fire department patch collection, donated by Ben Dancy, the chief of the Oklahoma City Fire Department from 1960 until 1982. There are more than 7,000 patches from around the world, all neatly cataloged so that you can look up the coordinates of where your city and state were displayed, then go find it on the wall. There is also a large collection of local fire department badges. A collection of antique fire equipment dating back to the mid-1700s was on display. This ladder cart was pulled to the fire by hand. This hose cart also had to be pulled. This is a horse-drawn pumper cart. A museum volunteer showed us how the remote fire alarm boxes were routed to the local fire station and how the alarm and its location were displayed. This is a 1928 Chevrolet chemical truck with a front pumper added in 1931. This truck provided service from 1928 until 1941. A very detailed mural of various models of fire trucks was painted on one wall of the museum. On Wednesday, May 16th, Carol and I toured the National Weather Service in Norman, Oklahoma, 20 miles south of Oklahoma City. The National Weather Center is comprised of multiple agencies from the federal, state, and local levels, combined with academic entities as well as research and development partners. These organizations work well together to improve understanding of events occurring in the Earth's atmosphere over a wide range of time and space scales. The five-story National Weather Center houses approximately 550 people. This includes research scientists, operational meteorologists, climatologists, engineers, technicians, support staff, graduate and undergraduate students. Our tour guide says that she attends her meteorology classes in this building. The trouble with our tour is that computers collect weather data from all across the United States and analyze the data to give us the pictures that we see on our televisions at home, but this leaves nothing for me to video. The National Weather Center has props in their lobby from the movie Twister, including Dorothy, the data collecting instrument designed to be released into the vortex of a tornado. We did learn that all weather warnings are issued by the National Weather Service, not local facilities that do most of their own forecasting, but since it was a relatively calm weather day, there wasn't much to see. Today is Monday, April 22nd, 1889. Just kidding, but at noon on this date in history, land not previously assigned to the Indians was open to settlement. At noon, mounted soldiers announced the time by sounding their bugles and shooting their rifles. An estimated 50,000 people took off across the land, hoping to stake claim to up to 160 acres of land. The settlers had to live on the land for 5 years and make improvements in order to receive the title to this land. Oklahoma City is within one of the counties that was open to settlers on April 22, 1889. So by now you know that Carol and I visited the Oklahoma History Museum today. So what else is Oklahoma famous for? The world's first parking meter was installed in Oklahoma City on July 16, 1935. In 1949, a young inventor named Jasper Hull built an enclosed fishing reel that eliminated tangles. The name of this reel was the Zebco. Dr. Nazi Zudi performed the first successful total intentional hemodilution open heart surgery on a 7-year-old boy in Oklahoma City on February 25, 1960. This process amounts to diluting the hemoglobin of the blood. Sonic drive-ins were introduced in Oklahoma in 1959. For those of you who don't know what Sonic is, cars drive into stalls parallel to each other, then order their food through a speaker on each stall. This was deemed faster than sitting in a long line and not ordering until you pulled up to the ordering position. Well, everyone, we are coming to the end of another busy week. Carol and I visited the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum today. This museum is very large and had a wide variety of things to see. However, most of the areas were not well lit, so I didn't take a lot of pictures, and most of those that I did take are too dark to show. The famous statue called End of the Trail was created by James Earl Fraser in 1915 and depicts an American Indian man hanging limp as his horse comes to an abrupt halt just prior to its momentum carrying him over an unseen precipice. Fraser intended the sculpture as an empathetic tribute to the intense feeling of betrayal and loss felt by the American Indians, as well as the tragic consequences of the exploitation brought upon them as a people. Thus the name of the sculpture serves both a literal and symbolic purpose. There was a long hallway that depicts a western town with a railroad depot, a doctor's office, a saloon, general store, and a U.S. Marshal's office, but again the lighting was very poor. I did manage to take this picture of the equipment used by the marshal. And here is a short video of a chuck wagon. After lunch we walked around the grounds outside. Although very well landscaped, the outside area seemed to be more of a cemetery of famous rodeo bulls and a longhorn cow that once lived on the grounds of the museum and participated in many local parades. We had a good time at the museum and saw a lot. We just aren't able to share it with you. Well, this wraps up our visit to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Sunday we will be driving to Tulsa. If you like this video and would like to be notified of future videos, please subscribe to our channel to be notified of future videos. And feel free to share this with your friends. Thanks for watching.